Appendixes. Key principles include the principle of consent, which gives customers control over their personal information, and the principle of goal proximity, which stipulates that information can only be used for the purpose for which it was originally collected. It also outlines obligations regarding the registration of databases and their security, including the need to periodically review the necessity of retaining information based on its original collection purpose. Organization defense controls. In the context of organization defense controls with an emphasis on computers, the document outlines several key points and findings. Evidence requirement. The document emphasizes the need for proper documentation to ensure that the controls are correctly integrated into the organization. This data can also serve as a basis for regulation and/or accreditation, certification. Ranking and setting priorities. The controls have been classified on a scale from 1 to 4. Level 1 controls are the most basic and are required of any organization for each asset, while Level 4 controls are only required for a defense target whose potential for damage is 4. Continuous control. Continuous control is essential to the organization as it allows the cyber defense party within the organization to understand what the defense gaps are and what steps are required to improve the situation. Continuous control can be performed at the compliant level, addressing defined issues and controls, or by measuring risks, threats, readiness for attack scenarios, and more. Key performance indicators, KPIs. KPIs allow the organization to measure and quantify the level of defense at a given time, comparing it to the measurement history, thus examining the trend. Risk assessment and management process. Cyber defense activities are carried out due to the organization's desire to manage the cyber risks to which it is exposed. The organization will first define what its main defense objectives are, what level of defense is required, and what are the defense gaps compared to the desired situation, and then proceed to build a work plan to minimize the gaps. Final product. After working with this document, the organization will understand the organizational risk map and what controls are needed to reduce those risks, including the right priorities for implementing the work plan. These controls will form the basis for building the work plan, allocating resources, and preparing the organization accordingly. Control bank. The control bank is a critical tool for organizations to systematically address cybersecurity risks by implementing recommended controls tailored to their specific needs and threat landscape. It serves as a guide for organizations to prioritize and implement cybersecurity measures effectively. Purpose of the control bank. The control bank is designed to centralize cyber defense recommendations in various areas and update them frequently based on technological developments and emerging threats. Gap analysis. The control bank is used for mapping all the gaps versus the list of different controls, helping organizations understand where they are not properly organized and to get a list of gaps. This process is compliance-oriented and results in a list indicating whether controls are correct, incorrect, irrelevant, partially implemented. Individual mapping. Controls are individually mapped against threats and critical risks in organization-sensitive defense targets. This acknowledges that the implementation of controls is a dynamic process that varies from one defense objective to another, and certain defense objectives may require detailed examination of controls like monitoring, supply chain management, and backup existence. Transition to risk-based perspective. The use of the control bank facilitates the transition from a compliance-oriented perspective to a risk-based perspective, aligning the implementation of controls with the organization's management vision and reducing risks and individual threats. Unique characteristics of the control bank. Focus on high-value controls. The control bank focuses on controls that make the most contribution to defense, where the cost versus benefit is the highest. Depth of implementation. Controls can be implemented in various forms, ranging from manual and non-systematic implementation to built-in implementation backed by full automation capabilities and up-to-date professional knowledge. Support for audit processes. The control bank supports audit processes and helps prepare the infrastructure for accreditation and certification by providing a structured set of controls with clear definitions for implementation depth and required evidence. Tools and methods for implementing continuous control in the organization. The focus on continuous control underscores the dynamic nature of cyber threats and the need for organizations to regularly assess and adjust their defense postures. Continuous control as a compass. Continuous control is essential for an organization as it provides a reflection of the current state of cyber defense and guides what steps are required to improve the situation. It allows the cyber defense party within the organization to know the defense gaps and the necessary steps for improvement. Compliance level control. Continuous control can be performed at the compliance level, addressing defined issues and controls, such as the compliance status in defense doctrine controls. Risk and threat measurement. It can also involve measuring risks, threats, readiness for attack scenarios, and more, going beyond mere compliance. Defining measurement parameters. To build an internal plan for continuous control management, the organization must first define a number of measurement parameters. Automated mechanisms. Mechanisms should be implemented that will absorb the measurement results and present the current situation alongside the trend in the organization. Automation is crucial for this process. Key performance indicators, KPIs. KPIs allow the organization to measure and quantify the level of defense at a given time, comparing it to the measurement history, thus examining the trend. These metrics may examine various aspects of cyber defense.